300 men go down in history for defeating an invading force of over 1,000 soldiers. This legendary battle may have taken place 2,400 years ago, but the secret to their victory has stood the test of time. The secret is simple. Believe in something bigger than yourself. Welcome back to the channel. Today we will examine one of the most lopsided battles in history and see how 300 soldiers defeated an invading force that was 3 times their size, and we'll discover why this battle changed history forever. The year is 480 BC, and the place is the northern shores of the Aegean Sea. Here lived the Spartans, a fierce race of warriors who valued courage, strength, and freedom above all else. Their society was built around the military, with every able-bodied male dedicating their life to training for war. When news reached the Spartans of a massive Persian army headed their way, intent on conquering Greece once and for all, they knew they had to act. At the heart of the Persian army was King Xerxes, who believed his empire was destined to rule the world. With over 100,000 troops at his command, he marched across the Hellespont, now the Dardanelles, into the heart of Greece. As the Persians advanced, the Greeks were forced to retreat, buying time for the Spartans to prepare their defense. As the Persian army approached the narrow pass of Thermopylae, also known as the Hot Gates, the Spartans, along with 700 Thespians and 100 Thebans, made their stand. Though vastly outnumbered, the Spartans were not afraid. They knew that if they could hold out for just 2 days, the rest of the Greek armies would arrive to reinforce them. For 2 days the Persians attacked, but they were repelled by the Spartans' superior fighting skills and discipline. By the 3rd day, the Persian king grew impatient. He sent a messenger demanding the Spartans' surrender, but Leonidas, the Spartan king, answered with a resounding "Molon lave," which means "come and get them." As the messenger turned to leave, Leonidas added, "And don't come back without your shield, or with it you'll be carrying something heavier." The messenger relayed the message to King Xerxes, who flew into a rage. He ordered the Spartans to be attacked with unrelenting ferocity. The Persians poured through the narrow pass, attacking from all sides. The Spartans fought like cornered lions, but it was only a matter of time before the Persian numbers told. One by one, the Spartans fell until there were only 300 left standing. With their shields locked in a tight formation, they continued to repel wave after wave of Persian attackers. But even in the face of overwhelming odds, they knew their fate was sealed. As the sun began its slow descent, the Spartans prepared for their final stand. When the last light faded from the sky, the Persians attacked. Swords flashed, and the screams of the dying echoed through the pass, but the Spartans fought until their very last breath. In the end, every single one of them died, but they had bought precious time for the rest of the Greek forces to regroup. These 300 soldiers became known as the 300 Immortals, and their bravery has inspired countless works of art and literature throughout the ages. But what was it about these 300 men that allowed them to fight so bravely against such overwhelming odds? To understand the secret of the 300 Immortals, we must look beyond their weapons and armor. Yes, they were well trained and equipped, but so were the Persians. In fact, the Persian army was one of the largest and most powerful ever assembled. So what was it that allowed the Spartans to triumph where others had failed? The answer lies in the realm of human psychology, specifically in the power of belief. You see, the Spartans didn't just believe in themselves, they believed in something bigger than themselves, their cause. You see, the Spartans weren't just fighting for themselves or their king. They were fighting for the freedom of all Greece. They were defending their homeland and their way of life against a ruthless and oppressive empire. It was a fight worth dying for. But it wasn't just the Spartans' belief in their cause that gave them the strength to fight on. they also believed in each other. The Spartans were a highly disciplined and cohesive unit. They fought as one, and they trusted each other with their lives. This sense of camaraderie and trust gave them the strength to push on when all hope seemed lost. But perhaps the most important factor in the Spartans' victory was their belief in their king, Leonidas. Leonidas was not just a military leader, he was a symbol of Spartan courage and determination. The Spartans followed him into battle, knowing that he had their back and that he would do whatever it took to protect his people. Now, let's take a moment to look at the opposing side, the Persians. What was it that led to their defeat at the hands of the Spartans? The answer, quite simply, is a lack of belief. The Persians did not believe in each other. They were a vast and diverse army, drawn from many different cultures and backgrounds. They did not trust each other, and they had no sense of unity or cohesion. This lack of belief in each other led to a lack of belief in their leaders, including the mighty King Xerxes. In addition to their lack of belief in each other, the Persians also did not believe in their cause. They were fighting for the glory of their king and the expansion of their empire. But these were not worthy causes, at least not in the eyes of the Spartans. The Persians were fighting to impose their will on others, to take what they wanted by force, and to crush anyone who stood in their way. The Spartans, on the other hand, were fighting to protect what was theirs and to defend those who could not defend themselves. In the end, it was this fundamental difference in beliefs that led to the Persians' defeat. The Spartans' belief in their cause, in each other, and in their leader gave them the strength to prevail against all odds. There is a lesson here for all of us. No matter how powerful our opponents are, no matter how great the odds stacked against us, we can still triumph if we believe in something bigger than ourselves. If we believe in our cause, if we trust and support each other, and if we have faith in our leaders. Let's take a look at some real-world examples of this in action. Nelson Mandela is a prime example of someone who believed in something bigger than himself. He dedicated his life to fighting for the freedom of South Africa from the oppressive system of apartheid. Despite being imprisoned for 27 years, Mandela never gave up on his dream of a free and equal South Africa. His belief in his cause and in the support of his people gave him the strength to endure unimaginable hardships and ultimately led to the downfall of apartheid and the first multiracial elections in South Africa. Another great example is the Indian independence movement led by Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi was a man of deep religious faith who believed in the principles of non-violent resistance. He led his people in a non-violent struggle against the British Empire to gain independence for India. Despite facing brutal repression and violence from the British, Gandhi and his followers remained steadfast in their belief in their cause and in each other. Ultimately, their belief and unity led to India's independence and inspired other nations around the world to follow suit. And then there are examples closer to home. During World War II, a group of Polish soldiers known as the Gurkhas fought against the invading German army, despite being hopelessly outnumbered. They were part of the Polish resistance, and they believed in their cause, the defense of their homeland and their way of life. Their bravery and determination in the face of impossible odds have become a thing of legend. Even in more modern conflicts, we see the same story playing out again and again. For example, the Afghan resistance against the Soviet Union in the 1980s and the Mujahideen's victory over the Soviets despite being vastly outnumbered and outgunned. The Afghan people believed in their cause and in their leaders, and that gave them the strength to prevail against all odds. The story of the 300 Immortals is a timeless one. It is a story of courage, determination, and the power of belief. It reminds us that no matter how great the odds, we can still triumph if we believe in something bigger than ourselves, if we believe in our cause, if we trust and support each other, and if we have faith in our leaders. So next time you face seemingly insurmountable odds, remember the Spartans and draw strength from their example. Believe in something bigger than yourself and you will be unstoppable. And that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more epic historical tales. Until next time, stay strong and remember, even in the face of overwhelming odds, you can still prevail if you believe in something bigger than yourself.